Hi everyone, hope you are well. Welcome to my talk on training today. Training is one of the key pillars of change management, and as the change manager, training is one of your core competencies or key competencies. In my earlier videos, I explained what change management is, what is stakeholder management, and how you analyze and manage your stakeholders. I also mentioned about resistance management and communication. Today, I'm going to talk about training. By the way, if you are watching my video for the first time, my name is Alok and I'm a change manager based in Sydney, Australia. And welcome to my network. Hopefully, in this short talk, we will be able to get a good understanding of what training is all about. Now, one thing I would like to clarify at the beginning, I'm not talking about BAU or business as usual training. I'm talking to you about training as part of change management. Now, training is a very important aspect of change management, and it depends on as the change manager, you need a lot of soft skills and hard skills to design and implement a training program successfully. So, where do you start training from? First of all, you actually start it with the impact assessment or detailed impact assessment, if we may say. So, you know how we do impact assessment against every change, that this is the change and this is the current state, this is going to be our future state, and there is a gap, and then we put a question: how do we manage it? Is it through training? Is it through communication? Or in many cases, it's a combination of both. So, how do you start? As I have said, it's obviously with the change impact assessment, but the next step is you actually have to build relationship with the business. That is where your insights as a change manager that is very important. So you talk to the business, especially every team would have a training specialist. Now they might have some other names, like some teams call them team quality assurance analyst or team coach, or maybe a senior team member, or it could be the people leader of that team. You need to speak to them. In some cases there might be a BAU team who actually looks after the training. So speak to them and see what sort of training materials they use, what sort of training management systems they use. Now, another thing many people don't realize as change managers, that the success for a change manager in terms of training is heavily dependent on how you manage your relationship with the business analyst. Because business analyst and the artifacts the business analyst produces are your primary sources of truth. So that is where you get all your details from. So you can find the summary of those documents and the notes from your discussion with the business analyst as the starting point. Another thing to remember is these days most changes are delivered using technology. It might be a compliance change, it might be a change in people and culture, it could be anything else, or it could be just a system change, but obviously technology plays a key role. In that case, it's a very good idea for you to keep a very close relationship with the testing team, especially when they're doing the user acceptance testing. You can grab the screenshots from them, you can use them for designing training material. The next thing is what sort of art tool that you use. The most preferred tool in most organizations is PowerPoint for many reasons. Like you can utilize PowerPoint in many ways. If you are creative, there is a room for creativity as well. And the other thing is they might have some sophisticated training management systems like Adobe Novio or Rise 360, Pix 360. But eventually you can actually upload PowerPoint document by making some changes. So PowerPoint is a very important skill, and if there is a BAU training team who looks after the the learning management system, it's important that you build relationship with them as well. Training requires a lot of planning. So what I'm saying, starting from your initial reading of the BRD and other artifacts, then to going to the change impact assessment, discussion with the business, with their team coach or team training specialist. Another set of artifacts which you might find useful is their standard operating procedures. So if they have a knowledge site where they store all their standard operating procedures, it's a good idea for you to get an access and review those materials. Now, another thing is important here, that in many organizations they refer to both training documents and standard operating procedures as one thing. So make sure you get an understanding that you have to make sure that you and they are on the same page. So if you are talking about a training document, they might be thinking it's a standard operating process. So make sure you understand each other. Obviously, you have to be very good at planning and managing your relationship with your stakeholders. Give them advanced notice. Like if you plan to book a training, check with them. When I say them, I mean the business, like that they have enough notice. And another thing is you have to have flexibility. It depends on what type of audience you are training. Based on that, you have to roll out your training. For example, if it's a call center or a contact center, you may not be able to get all the team members at the same time. In that case, train the trainer model is a very good model. So basically you train their team coach or team QA, then they train their other team members. In some cases, you might have to get them in batches. So for example, you get 5 team members at one go. Once they are done with the training, then another set of trainees come to your session. It is also a good idea to record these training sessions, because if they are in a very busy environment and their people leader cannot afford to let them come to the training session, you can use those video recordings. They can use it for self-guided learning. So self-guided learning is a very powerful methodology that many people use these days. Now, how do you measure the success of the training? Now, success means 2 things. One, how satisfied your audience is. Like, did they get what they expected to get out of it? Second thing, how successful they were in translating the training into capability. So for the first, you have to use some surveys. It's a very important tool to use those surveys. Make sure you use those surveys and get the feedback and analyze them. That way you can see how effective the training was from the point of view of your users. The second bit, whether it was useful in translating their knowledge into capability, this is something it needs more detailed approach, more nuanced approach. You have to speak to the team managers and probably your project manager and business analyst, and you have to come up with some sort of mechanism to report on that success. So just to sum up, training is a process. Always look at it as a process. It depends on, the success depends on how smartly you manage your relationships. It's not just a matter of hard skills, it's a matter of soft skills too. And it is a good idea to seek feedback. Like as you build the training materials, you might ask feedback from the business analyst or the team coach or a subject matter expert. This will make your training methodology and training materials a lot better. I hope you find it useful, and thank you for watching. I would love to know what you think about this. So please leave a comment in the comment section, and thank you again for watching.